Hi, good evening, everybody. Working on a different camera tonight, trying to get it to where it's a little bit better for audio visually, so we're going to give this one a shot. Chapter 4, Lesson 2, we're going to talk about the colonial government. Once again, we're speeding through this. This isn't the full PowerPoint that you would have in class, but hopefully it'll allow you to fill out any lecture outlines or just review for the test, which I hope that's what you're doing by watching this. So, once again, if you have any questions, please come see me in class, shoot me an email, whatever you need to do. Here we go. All right, we're going to talk about State Standard 8.12. We're going to talk about the day-to-day life of colonial men and women, children, the different regions. We talked about geography and how geography played a role in telling people what they would be doing in each region. We're going to compare the government structures. We're going to talk about the practice of salutary neglect, and experience with self-government. We kind of get a taste of it and we really liked it, which leads us farther and farther away from Britain and closer to the Revolutionary War. We're going to talk about the significance of the Magna Carta, the English Bill of Rights, the Mayflower Compact. Now we're going to mention this a little bit in the PowerPoint, but you guys did have the worksheet packets where we went through and read excerpts and kind of discussed how they were different and how they were alike. Now, the central question throughout all this is, how do new ideas change the way people live? As we go through, education is something you're seeing a lot, a higher level of literacy. People are learning to read more and more. The public's becoming educated, which is a great thing. Publishing, war, economy, religion and ideas, politics and law is kind of what we're going to focus on today. Now, using ideas from England and their own experiences, the colonists began developing their beliefs about a proper form of government and the role that it should play in their lives. Now, why are protected rights and representative government important principles? Well, as colonies grew, they developed some forms of self-government, whether it be the Mayflower Compact, where they all signed it before they got off the boat, agreeing that they were going to do things for the good of the people, or Jamestown, where they set up the House of Burgesses, which was the first form of representative government. Once again, here's one of those moments. Wink, you're going to see that again. Now, the Magna Carta happens before all this, but it established protection against unjust treatment or punishment. It limited the king's or queen's power. Now, the Magna Carta established the English principles of limited government. Some kings were good, some were tyrants. This way it kind of gave a little bit of separation and some representation. Now, we have what's called the Glorious Revolution. This goes on. King James is kicked out. His daughter Mary and her husband William of Orange take the throne. Now, William and Mary promised to govern England according to the laws that Parliament agreed upon. But most importantly, they called it the Glorious Revolution because of the peaceful transfer that they had. It brought major change in the idea of government in England, and we start taking some of these ideas in the colonies as well. Now, colonial governments. The House of Burgesses were in Virginia, as we talked about before. The Mayflower Compact was in Plymouth. The General Court was in Massachusetts Bay. And the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. I don't really have to tell you where that was. Connecticut. It was the first written constitution in America. Now, by the 1760s, there were three types of colonies in America. You had charter colonies, proprietary colonies, and royal colonies. Connecticut, Rhode Island were the charter colonies. It was a colony established by a group of settlers who had been given a formal document allowing them to settle. Now, colonists elected governors, members of the legislature, and Britain could approve the governor's appointment, but the governor could not veto acts of the legislature. Proprietary colonies were Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. It was colonies run by individuals or groups to whom land was granted. Now, let's back up a second. Remember, Pennsylvania started out, there's a group of Swedes in the southern counties. William Penn allowed them to kind of separate, and thus you get Delaware. The proprietors could usually rule as they wished, and they appointed the government and members of the upper house and council. Now, the colonists were allowed to elect the lower house, or the assembly. The royal colonies, which would have been Georgia, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, they were a colony run by a governor and a council appointed by the king or queen. The The colonists elected the assembly. The governor and the council members usually acted as Britain told them, but however, conflicts arose, especially in the assembly when officials tried to enforce taxes or trade restrictions. Keep in mind, this is early America. We don't like people telling us what to do, and we don't like paying taxes. This will lead us to the Revolutionary War. Also, real quick, they'd meet once a year or so. People wanted to know why they didn't meet regular or more often. It takes time for word to travel. Remember, everything's coming by boat. There's no cell phones, there's no texting, there's no Skype, there's no line between the U.S. and what will be the U.S. and Europe where they had telegraphs. None of that. So it would be dictated down on paper, sent to the king, they'd read it, they'd talk about what they wanted to do, then they'd send it back. And we're talking months upon months to make this happen. Now, the right to vote in the English colonies, who could vote? Congratulations if you are a white male and Christian and you own property and were 21 years old. You could vote. Who could not? Women, Africans, Native Americans, men who did not own property, men who were not Christians, and men who did not belong to a particular church in some colonies. The irony of it is that people were coming here for religious freedom, got here and quite didn't find that freedom that they were expecting. Remember Massachusetts Bay Colony, Anne Hutchinson, Roger Williams, they were kicked out, Rhode Island was formed. England viewed North American colonies as an economic resource. It was all about the money. The purpose of the colonies was to make money for Britain. England believed in the economic theory called mercantilism, which said this: a nation became strong strictly by controlling its trade. To make money from its trade, England had to export more goods than it imported. Let's stop right there for a second. Here's the deal. I need to sell more goods than I buy. That's the way of life. I can't survive. My wife and I could not survive if let's say collectively we make $80,000 a year. We could not survive very long if we're spending $100,000 a year. If we're bringing in 80 and we're spending 100, it doesn't work. Mercantilism says this: I need to sell more than I take in. So I need to make more money than I'm spending. That was the theory, and it worked well. Now, to control trade, Parliament passed the Navigation Acts, ensuring that only England benefited from trade with the colonies. A lot of other countries out there wanted goods from the colonies, but they were pretty tricky with the Navigation Acts. We'll talk more about them here in a second. Just some more principles of mercantilism. We've covered it. You know it. You'll see it again. Wink, wink. Now, the colonies could only trade with the home country. So raw goods such as gold, cotton, timber were being sent over to England, and then England would turn around and sell us the manufactured goods, such as clothing and furniture. So once again, everything we grew here would be sent to England, and we would also buy from England the goods we needed. So that way England's taking in items and then selling items also. They're making money. Now, the Navigation Acts of 1650. These are the first acts that really start to upset people. No country could trade with the colonies unless the goods were shipped in either colonial or English ships. Keep in mind at this point, pretty much the same thing. Now, all vessels had to be operated by crews that were at least 3/4 English or colonial. No other country in their right mind is going to give a ship and say, okay, I need English sailors on there. The English will take the ship. The colonies could export certain products only to England. So, for instance, let's say I have France wanting to buy $1,000 worth of rice. England says, no, you can't do that. You have to sell it to us, but we're only going to give you $500 for it. Well, the only people we can truly trade with is England. So England gets it for $500. England turns around and sells it to France for $1,500. We make less money. England's still making money. France is paying more. England's the winner in this one. Now, almost all goods traded between the English colonies in Europe first had to pass through English ports. So even if it's going to another country, it's going to stop at an English port, and there you're more than likely going to be paying taxes on The English colonial rule. England believed in an economic theory, mercantilism, which said a nation becomes stronger by controlling its trade. We've talked about it already. I sell more than I spend. To control the trade, Parliament passes the Navigation Acts, ensuring that only England benefits from trade with the colonies. And once again, just a diagram of the triangular trade, which you'll see again, where all goods go to Britain, finished goods and slaves will come back this way. The slaves traveled on what is known as the Middle Passage, something you need to remember there also. Wink, wink. Fancy animations. Now, that's it for this one. I hope it was a quick, I know it was a quick run through for the colonial government. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, shoot me an email, come by class, ask a question. If you're on another team, ask the teacher. They'll be more than happy to help you. Hope it helped, guys. Have a great day.